Hey guys, welcome to the Sunfall how-to videos. Today we're going to be looking at grunging, or posting if you will, a pair of boots. The tools you're going to need is water, assorted cheap brushes, assorted pigments, containers, spray primer, spray paint, spray varnish, protective gloves, transparent PVA glue, steel brush, various powders, air filter mask. So let's get started. Whenever I'm working with leather, I start by giving it a light sanding. Here I'm adding some primer, which will help further paint and details to stick to the leather. I'm not being overly generous with the layers, but rather adding several thin layers. Do remember to get onto all surfaces you intend to paint. Next, you can add some colors. This helps adding layers, which will result in a more natural pattern forming when you start sanding and brushing. With a steel brush, you can start adding a worn look. Shifting the amount of pressure with the brush tends to give more of a natural look. Getting to some of the smaller details, like straps and such, tends to leave you with a more complete look in the end. Next stage is to even out the surface by lightly sanding it. This helps to even out transitions of the details. Again, shifting the amount of pressure you apply will give you a more natural or random look. As a rule of thumb, the higher the grit count, the finer the surface it leaves in the end. Here I'm adding a mixture of about 2:1 water and PVA glue. Adding this helps materials such as talcum, cement, plaster powder to stick to surfaces and run into cracks and openings. There's no requirement for using the size of brush I'm using here. It all comes down to how much control you want of the mixture. When you've added a generous amount of water and glue, start adding powders. The pattern with which you apply the powder is completely up to you, but do remember to take into consideration how the material would have ended up on the boots. After the first layer, feel free to add more, as this can add a bit of complexity, but remember to stop in due time so you don't mess up the look you're going for. Be sure to add pigments in moderation, as they are very potent. With that said, these pigments does not come off or wash out easily, so make sure to clear your workspace and surroundings before you start working with it. Here I'm adding a thin layer for the most part, but selecting a few spots for a higher concentration. Lightly patting it helps to distribute it in a more realistic pattern. With a light brush you can add further details even after you've added the pigments. The idea behind the green pigments I'm adding here is to show the splatter left after kicking a somewhat large blood bug. This is to highlight how you can use pigments for both overall effect and for more specific details. Be sure to add a coat of matte varnish. This helps seal in the details, but also helps to tone down pigments and powders, leaving you with a pretty realistic look. A big thank you goes out to Faro Cigar for supplying many of the materials you've seen here. You'll find a link to their website in the description below. Feel free to leave a comment, because we'd love to hear from you. If you like what you're seeing, make sure to press the subscribe button. But for now, that's it. Hope to see you in the wasteland.